Good morning, everyone. I am Kashif here, and I am back with another information session. Today, my topic will be something about ISO standards and which ISO standards is perfect or is available for an organization, or which ISO standard can work out as a perfect or at least something to do, like you can earn some living out of it as a professional certification and a professional qualification. So we are going to discuss a little bit about all the standards, and we are starting this series, and this is the first set of the series where we are going to speak about ISO 9001. So let's start our main aim of, because now we understood the career prospects. That was my whole idea, to just create a lot of interest in you guys, so before we end up into the quality management system. So let's discuss something about 9000 series. Now, the ISO 9000 series is actually an international standards. People say it's about the quality management and the quality assurance systems, which are helping develop the companies to actually run their quality system elements. But for me, it is a very good business management model. It is placed on the Deming cycle of plan, do, check, and act. And the quality aspect is embedded in this system, in the sense for every business to succeed. The most important thing is that you should be able to provide the same level of service, the same level of product, the same set of instructions which you are following for a long time, and you are able to repeat that. That is actually called an ideal business management process. And in layman term, we call it as a quality, that we are able to reproduce the same set of processes, and we are able to reproduce the same set of service to the customer. So that is quality. Now, to explain a little bit about quality, now most of the people, they say BMW is also a quality product, Hyundai is also a quality product. So how we can define quality? Because most of the quality gurus have defined quality as, it is the value for money. It is the value of the product you are willing to pay to the organization in exchange of that good which you are going to buy. Now you have Hyundai also, you have BMW also. Both are claiming that they are offering a quality to the consumers. Sorry for that. But if we see BMW, the way they are promoting their stuff, or Ferrari or BMW, if you see this, their set of customers are totally different. They are going to provide you the word out of class, out of box solution with respect to the car driving experiences. And they are also saying that we are going to deliver you your value of money, but if you are interested in X, Y, Z, or A, B, C features. And Hyundai is also not saying wrong to the customers. Their set of customer are the medium class, and they are saying while selling their product that we are offering you the same level of safety which a BMW have, and but my driving experience will be based on XYZ. This is my grade of giving you within the money you are going to willing to pay for me. So then we need to understand that there is a grading between the quality. Both the products are of the quality products, but their dimensions are different. So there should not be any confusion in your mind that Hyundai is not selling a quality product and only BMW is selling a quality product. The BM quality is defined by their dimensions, and this is the Hyundai is defining their quality as per their dimensions. But whatever they are claiming, Hyundai is fulfilling that thing, and whatever BMW is claiming, they are fulfilling, or they are complying with their fulfillment of whatever they are claiming. So everybody is right in their quality. The important thing is that what I am promising to the customer, I should be able to deliver it, whatever I am promising to him. So if Hyundai is saying that I am going to give you a luxury of drive with 50,000 dirhams and without leather seating and without this thing, but you will enjoy the ride, it will serve the purpose, it will not break down. So I will judge the quality of Hyundai with the parameters they are claiming. And if BMW or Ferrari is saying this is a word of class, out of the box driving experience, I will give you computers that you can speak and drive, driveless. your tires are automatically changed. So I will see the claim of BMW and I will judge their quality based on their claims. So I think it should be clear that quality has its own dimension. So whatever you are claiming, that's more important. You should be able to produce the same set of thing for the consumer. So the consumer will have only those expectations which is thinking about Hyundai, and will have only expectations which is, he will not have the BMW expectations while buying a Hyundai, because Hyundai never told to this guy that I'm going to give you a luxurious, the world class drive. It is only saying I can offer you this at this price. So as a consumer, he will only claim Hyundai with the set of instructions or set of claims sent by Hyundai, and vice versa with respect to the BMW. So that is how I explain quality. Okay. And ISO 9000 is actually is a family of three standards. You, in one of the standard, they will tell you about fundamentals and vocabulary. 9001 2015 is the requirement standard, which tells you about the requirement if you want to adopt this standard, what requirements you need to comply with, and what you will be checked so that I can consider you as certifiable company. And then there are guidelines for performance improvement. And if somebody doesn't know and wants to, like, actually get more information on any of the clauses or any of the requirement, they can switch to 9004 series, and then they will give you a good idea of this, the quality management criteria of 9001. So this is one of the most widely recognized in the world. Every company will start with ISO 9001. It is also called the center or the mother of all the standards, because this is one of the basic standard. If you implement 9001 and you want to implement other standards, the other standards can easily follow if you have a 9001 established in your company. Okay, and it is a very thing, and the whole idea of establishing or putting 9000 on work of paper is to actually find out a way of increasing your productivity, reducing unnecessary cost, and basically giving the quality of the processes and the products which an organization is saying I can provide. So that's the basic aim of 9001. So there are 10 sections in the ISO 9001, and as I mentioned, it is based on Deming cycle. You plan something, you execute that plan, then you check that plan whether you are on target, and if there are gaps, you act upon it, and then you do a sort of performance or continual improvement cycle where you will refresh the system and you will do the replanning so that you can actually keep on progressing to the exceptional level or to the level of world-class organization by doing undergoing a continuous improvement cycle. Most of the organizations in UAE are asking 9001 as a basic standard so that you can actually do a business with those companies. So you need to have a basic level of ISO 9001 implemented in your system. Otherwise, the public entities are not going to entertain you as their suppliers also. So we need to understand that this is highly recommended standard for the organization. So this is the 10 clauses, which are the sections. It starts with the scope, references, terms and definitions. And we are going to discuss what is the context of the organization, why leadership, why planning, why support operations, and how we do the performance evaluation, and finally how we do the improvement cycle. So the document structures, you need to understand there are certain clauses which are just the definition clauses, and there are some clauses where I need to take set of actions which are mostly called as a mandatory clauses. And there are some exception to the mandatory clauses also, that if you are not into designing field and if you are not doing something with respect to making designs for the services or for the products, so you can be exempted or excluded. You can exclude that sort of clause, but you need to understand very quickly and very clearly that we need to be very sure that the exclusion should be justified, because otherwise you cannot exclude any part if you want to be a certified company. So the clauses start with 0 to 3, which are basically our introductions, scope, preferences, explaining you the terms and conditions. Okay, then the clause 4 is the context of the organization, which says why that organization exists. why that organization exists, what is the vision of that company, what is the mission of that company, what are the goals they want to achieve, and how they are going to achieve. And then the other part, it speaks about if you want to reach a goal and you want to be a 50% market leader of any product, so then you need to understand what can stop me to reaching to that level. What are my external strengths? What are my external weaknesses? What are my internal strengths? What are the internal what are the internal weaknesses I have? What are the external opportunities I have? And how I can exploit that. So I have to carry out a SWOT analysis or a cluster analysis to see where I stand and how I can make sure that I am going to reach my mission, my vision, and my goals. And here I have to involve all my interested parties into this thing. They should interact, and then the context of that organization will become more relevant. And then the leadership and the commitment, we require the leadership, the requirement, the tone at the top. Okay, they will promote the customer focus, but at the end of the day, all the people should be given a little bit of power to decide, to make decisions, and so that every function works independently and without any sort of lagging. Because if everything is in one man show in the top management hands, so the supervisor will be always asking, "Sir, I have this problem. Can I do this or can I not do this?" So it speaks about you have to give some responsibilities, you have to give some authorities, you have to actually give some sort of cascading effect to the lower management so that the leadership is actually embedded in the culture and it is not only on the namesake or on the organization charts. Then you plan for your management system, how you're going to work. So the planning part takes into consideration what are the risks and opportunities. Okay, then you will set your quality objectives. Now for setting the quality objectives and planning, you will always receive a sort of support and resource management. Okay, so you will need HR, you will need infrastructure like buildings, administration staff, vehicles, transport section. If you are working with the goods, you also need a warehouse. So there are lots and lots of things which you need actually. So we need to be very much sure that without support and resource management, nothing will works out. Nothing works out actually. And then once I have the operational, I will do my operational planning. If I have technical stuff, if I have design work, if I have a development work, if I am doing manufacturing, what sort of controls I have. So I will plan for that. And after that, I will go and do a performance evaluation. What went well, what went wrong. So I have internal audits for monitoring. I have key performance indicators. I will evaluate the processes. I will put it to the management that these are the dimensions of my quality management or 9001 management system. Now you take a decision whether we are on track, where we want to improve, and where we need funds, where we need some cost escalation so that we can meet the customer demands. What are the customer complaints? How we can make the customer more happy and more satisfied, and then you take actions to continuously improve the cycle, the continual improvement part. And whatever ISO says is that even if you are the highest peak or maturity level, still there will be a small room for improvement. And we as an organization or as an individual, we should be actually improving our part. Okay, so where this 9001 is applicable, it is applicable into the construction industries because these are project management companies. They always have a budget and a time and a resource constraint, and they have external parties, stakeholders. They have like people who are sitting in the as a regulator in the government. They want people to behave in a certain manner. They want to make sure all the quality which you have marked, if it is a construction company or if it's a building construction job, I want to make sure that the tenants who are going to, or the owners who are going to be will living there or residing there should not face any problem with respect to the integrity of the structure, safety of the structure, or the quality of the structure. So it is equally beneficial for all the things, and there is a requirement by municipality also that you should be having a minimum set of certification with respect to the quality management system so that they can entertain you as a qualified construction person or a qualified construction company. It is equally important in the engineering part. So wherever there is a requirement of a reputation or putting the products in consistency, okay, you are able to be, the dimension will tell us, or the certification of ISO will tell us that as an engineering company, I am able to repeat and scale my performance to suit the needs of the clients. So, and if there is any problem, there will be a complaint or there will be a non-conformity or non-compliance handling process available in the system, so that my money will not be lost and somebody is going to listen to me. So it is a benefit that it gives, demonstrates that an engineering company has having a 9001. So they have done the risk assessment with respect to their development, and whatever they are developing as part of the engineering solution or a machine, it will be having a quality features auto enabled in that, because all the risk has been taken into considerations. It is good for manufacturing industry, and basically 9001 mostly started with an manufacturing setup, keeping into mind the manufacturing, because there you have a production targets to meet, you need to have a minimum set of quality to meet, you have to sell the product will have some defects, and the defects has to come back, somebody has to do a root cause analysis why that defect occurs. So these kind of things are very much, so 9001 in a manufacturing setup will give you a confidence that this company is taking into consideration all the best practices and I am safe in doing business with them. And in hotels and hospitality, we have lots and lots of problems and challenging with respect to the managing of the hotel staff, the management of the rooms, and management of the people, because they are actually outsiders. They come and visit our sort of brand of hotels. Okay, so they come with a certain expectations in their mind. So if I am able to fulfill their needs, I will be having a good marks, and they are going to have returning back to my hotel. So that will be my super aim. So then it is going to be a beneficial thing for the hospitality business also, because it can be easily marked. So if I have 5 hotels and one hotel is saying I am ISO 9001 certified, so as a foreign national, I will be more like more willing to go to this ISO 9001 hotel rather than going to any other hotel. Okay, so it is equally applicable to the health sector. So in the health sector, we are talking about because it is related to our lives. And when we go to a doctor and if he starts pinching me and if he's not able to find my vein for my blood, removal of my blood for the blood test, I will never go to that because it is a painful exercise. So I need to make sure that if I go to this hospital, I always get cured. I always get good medicine. So that is also the 9001 can play a many good role in actually making sure that whatever products I am buying is from ISO 9001 certified company. The products are safe for the lives of the people. There are other standards also which talks about the laboratory, how to remove the bloods and all those things. But basically, if you have 9001, so it gives a good indication this hospital has management processes, and whatever they are going to buy, they are going to buy from the people. Services will be minimum to the level of 9001. And when it comes to the IoT technology field or the tech sector, which we usually see, okay, so these kind of 9001, even if you don't have the information security or the IT service management or the disaster recovery or the business continuity management system established with your system, but at least they will have a little bit of demonstration that they are complying with the world's best practices of the business management practices through ISO 9001. So people will be having confidence in doing business if you are looking for a tech services sort of business. Lastly, and not the least but not the last one actually. So if you have a community services also, because people don't go outside the box. So even if you are a funding organization, you are an NGO, you are involved in a community service. And if you have checks and balances implemented and you have 9001, so it gives a good indication to the people who are the donors, the people who are the recipient of that support, that this organization is not going to do, or they have a correct track of record of maintaining their or managing the funds, and they will be not doing some sort of wrongdoings with us. So people will be more willing to come to those side of community services providers. So these are actually some of the benefits. There can be n number of industries like aircraft industry. It can be in the airport services. It can be even in the security services also, because securities professionals will have its own dimensions and own technical standards. But if you have 9001 established as a hired laborer company or a construction company or as a subcontractor, so it gives a good idea that you have established processes which are the minimum good for doing businesses and business management practices. So it will give you a good sort of confidence in doing business with that kind of a people. And this is from my side. I'm just like a certified lead auditor for at least 19 to 20 standards, but I'm still learning. And if you are willing to join me in this learning journey, so you can get in touch with us to Delphi. And this is what we are offering you at Delphi. We are offering you flexibility in timing. We have self-paced learning resources also. It is cost effective. We are not people who are running after the money. We provide career guidance. We will make you industry ready. And what we want is that you should get a good placement after coming through Delphi and going through Delphi. And if you have any questions and answers, you can ask me now, or you can get in touch with the persons living mentioned on the list. So we will be more happy the person to serve you if you come across with any of the requirement with respect to 9001 or any other ISO standards. So just be aware that I am going to release another video on ISO 14001 and then 45001 and rest of the IT standards and the innovation standards. So be looking for that video and hope to see you soon. Goodbye for now.